Who would have thought that the fate of the German Empire, maybe the fate of the world, is going to be decided on the Hawaiian island of Honolulu? There is a momentous decision to be made. Queen, and I'm going to try to pronounce that, Liliuokalani II, has asked for assistance because the very large Union of Socialist American States has threatened Hawaii with reintegration, demands of reintegration. Hawaii, as an independent kingdom, is part of the Reichspakt. If Germany cannot stand on their own, and it cannot stand with their own, then what's the Reichspakt worth? If we abandon Hawaii, who's going to be next to leave? How is that going to change our standing in the world? On the flip side, if we stand firm and tell the Union to back off, it could cause the rift between the Union of Socialist American States, which is a totalitarian syndicalist flavor, to join the Third International on the side of the European powers, which are already giving us trouble. So that is a truly momentous decision. As such, it has to be put before the Kaiser, and the Kaiser, while old, has a sense of honor. And if there is an empire to be worth fighting for, then this empire has to stand with its allies, because otherwise there is no sense in any of it. So yes, the German Empire intervenes and will protect Hawaii. How we're going to do that practically is a completely different question. So while the operations on the ground have been relatively successful, the naval losses of the High Seas Fleet have been substantial. And as such, the High Seas Fleet is probably the one that exemplifies the lack of preparedness for this instance the most. The Navy has not managed to decisively interrupt British-French operations, especially British-French cruiser operations, have wreaked havoc on our escort attempts in the North Atlantic, and the High Seas Fleet has not managed to decisively intervene, given the risk of a full clash with the British Home Fleet. We have seen them operating out in the Channel, and we cannot risk the two strike forces in a full-on battle against the British Home Fleet. As such, we've taken some significant losses on destroyers, and it looks like some of Dönitz's submarines have defied orders and have been spotted in a operation near northern Scotland and are now being intercepted by a small British strike force, which leads to probably that group being lost if we are unlucky. So all in all, we've relegated the Navy to the submarines in the Navy to blocking operations along the Atlantic, and we can probably include the Cape Verde Plains here, because we are holding most of and block the entrance to the southern Atlantic as well. So that is operating out of bases in Ireland, which is a precarious situation as well. Ireland has not yet joined the war, but if they do, then there's a potential that this will fall, and that cuts off all of our Atlantic operations and might force us into a ground offensive against France. Right now, the air battle over northern France is raging, and we are evenly matched in terms of numbers. However, our fighters are proving to be superior in experience and in overall prowess against the enemies. We are facing a wild variety of mostly British planes, British and French planes, with our own planes probably about half between Focke-Wulfs and Bf-109s. Which reminds me, we need to see if we can refit some of the older Focke-Wulfs. I'm not sure if they're yet falling out. I don't think they will be falling out yet of production, but out of frontline use. No, so far the Focke-Wulfs are just being there for replacements. So Battle raging over northern France. The heavy fighters are busy with interception of enemy planes over Germany, and are again wreaking havoc there quite effectively. So these bombers get shot down whenever they show up. We are moving 2 heavy fighter wings over to Sweden because the ground assault in the north near Oslo has somewhat stagnated, with some reinforcements arriving that we can throw immediately into the attack on Fredrikstad, where there's a final. The 30th Derbyshire Division makes a final stand, and the Hochseeflotte, in a redeeming action, has taken care of most of the Norwegian Navy in the North Sea, at least securing that part. Denmark has joined on our side, so no concerns there, and hopefully Denmark can make a difference here. In the Pacific, where are Paulus's divisions? Paulus's divisions are on the move towards the Dutch East Indies, and from there on will make their way over to German East Asia, where they will reinforce the German East Asian lines and hopefully help with the war against Indochina. Although the Asian theater has been sort of marginalized at this point quite a bit, with the potential entry of the Union of Socialist American States, so the USAS, let's call them that. We are in a potential Weltkrieg against pretty much everyone soon. Anyway, let's have a look at the lines on the ground in France. The French have activated the northern forces, and so far they're breaking their heads on the very well equipped assault divisions in the north. And the losses, again, should be pretty horrendous. Belfort is in the south. Belfort is where the French are trying to crack the Alsace-Lorraine fortifications without much success. And in the north, near Dunkirk, we are seeing losses as well. So overall, so far, the French losses and the Norwegian losses are quite staggering for this early on, whereas the German losses are significantly lower than that. And that means we will hold on and continue to fight. Fuel is a bit of a concern, but once the 2 Schlachtgeschwaders are back in port, this should get a little better. They just have to finish off the last remaining Norwegian submarines if they can catch them. And that brings us to the ground offensive in Norway, where we are finishing off the battle in Fredrikstad. Can we actually... they only have support planes in the air, so we can get the first Kampfgeschwader to actually support that. And that gives us some air support from our side as well. And that should be... Okay, we'll have to defend in the north. We'll leave the southern force to finish off Fredrikstad, and then we will... no, you actually stay right there. You stay on that front line, please. Then we'll get the... once Fredrikstad has fallen, then we'll launch the assault on Oslo, and that should sort out the supply situation in the position. All right, the Battle of the Eastern North Sea is over. And we have sunk 2 Norwegian submarines, 10 destroyers, 2 Norwegian cruisers, 10 destroyers and 2 of their submarines. 6 submarines have managed to escape, and that means the 2 Schlachtgeschwader should be returning to port now. They are. And we'll keep out of the British Isles by now. We have lost... We've lost a convoy to British submarines, but convoys should not be operating in the North Sea. So let's block that zone as well. There should not be any convoy traffic going out through the north at all at this point. All trade has to happen over land, And so far this looks like it works out reasonably well. We are going to be losing a fair amount of submarines here, unfortunately, due to their actions. And the rest of the Unterseebootflottillen is moving into position along the ridge to potentially interdict any kind of Scandinavian problems. So, air battle ongoing. The troops of Paulus's troops are still on the move, and we'll have to wait for them to come into place for a much needed reprieve here against Indonesia. So that's going to happen. Sweden, however, is a bit more of a concern. Have the heavy fighters arrived? Yes, they have. So we've got the Nachtjagdgeschwader and a Zerstörergeschwader. They are going to start air superiority missions over southern Norway, and they are engaging 100 British fighters, mostly Spitfires probably, and a fair amount of British support planes. So we'll see how well our heavy fighters can engage here. And now that the situation there has been resolved, we will immediately launch the assault on Oslo and try to take this vital supply position, while the rest of the troops is moving into position to secure the front lines. And we can extend the front lines slightly there. Brazil is no longer sending us material support, which is fine, but we might be able to encircle, if we can still catch them, a Norwegian and a British division in the south here, and see if we can correct the frontline positions, unless they can break through there, which is likely. There are potentially British reinforcements moving into Oslo relatively quickly. Yep, we're seeing British reinforcements landing in Bergen. So, given that the High Seas Fleet is not covering the North Norwegian coast, we can probably risk that. I mean, we probably will have to risk that, because the one thing we need to do is we need to cut off the British resupply of troops in the Norwegian region. So let's get the not you. You are completely elsewhere. There we go. Let's get the Norwegian coast covered, and we will see how that ends up working out. French assaults along the lines of contact here, I don't think are going to be successful, simply due to the and the Union of Socialist American States, to nobody's great surprise, has declared war on us. So that changes the situation somewhat. The Reichspakt has now fielded a total manpower of 6 million troops against a estimated 3 million manpower of the Third International. But we are also potentially now at war with there are the Americans. So the Union of Socialist American States is now, we have multiple Second Weltkriegs, is now at war with the German Empire as well. So this is a different war. People will join eventually. We will see American troops, but that's why we've already pre-positioned the submarines along the lines here. And we have lost a Condor while attacking a convoy. So one of the Condors has been shot down by the air defenses on one of the convoys. We are definitely going to need to cut off the to cut them off there. We've lost a couple of convoys here, 2 enemy submarines. There are, but I'm not sure why we actually still have convoys in the region. I'm pretty sure I closed that. Okay, Norwegian Sea, no convoys through the Norwegian Sea either. Close that off completely. That means the submarines will have to... Oh, they can't operate out of... that cuts off our submarines from supply. That's the problem here. Okay, so we have to open the western approaches, but not have the submarines... so the submarines can resupply out of Ireland. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's better. But that way the submarines are not going to be... the submarines can supply out of Ireland, but they're not going to operate on the western approaches region because it's too dangerous. Okay. What else is going on? So we are losing some convoys here, unfortunately. This is just supply. We have... the Condors have engaged enemy submarines and have damaged one of them. But it's otherwise been undecided. We've lost 4 submarines in the western approaches due to the irregular action there. And a Dutch group is now being hunted by the French Navy in the Channel. Not much we can do about this because we are not engaging at sea there just yet. There is a... their fighters have been committed to the Rhineland region. So that is quite fascinating, which means we are going to probably have to... Yeah, they have committed Spitfires to support the bombing runs in the Rhineland. So they're probably operating either out of France or out of Britain. That means we are going to have to focus all these heavy fighters on the Rhineland region, and that only leaves 1 Zerstörergeschwader to cover Berlin. Which means we do have to probably recall the heavy fighter wings out of Norway. Yes, we have to recall them to Berlin, and they need to run interception missions over Germany. And in fact, we are going to actually probably force aerial superiority now out of the Rhineland region, and we're going to do the same thing over Berlin. So let's just patrol the skies. We're going to have to return the heavy fighters to Berlin to patrol the skies here. Berlin, and patrol the skies over Western Germany, which means we're not going to have air support over... we're not going to have air support over the Northern Air region. Stop that. The scout plane wings are still operating, but Battle of Oslo is raging, and we'll commit all troops that we have. The British have reinforced. So there is a second British division now, or there's a British division now as in Oslo as well. But we are committed at this stage to take that position at all costs. And the Union of the USAS has declared war on Ukraine, and France has declared war on Middle Africa. So another Condor lost here against a French group. Condors are not as effective as I thought they would probably be, so we might have to... and some of our submarines have been damaged by British air forces over Ireland. The submarine position is very precarious and not ideal, but it's our only way of covering the Atlantic pending an invasion of France, which we are currently not yet going to push, but we might be forced to do soon. So far, we're just dealing with the French, but I would like Operation Paula to complete first and wear down the French the Air Force in northern France. Unfortunately, they are probably going to get reinforcements from the Americas. So that's going to be fun as well. The German submarines operating in the Atlantic have managed their first success against a British convoy, I think. So that's much needed good news for the Navy. I'm not sure what they were doing there. I don't think there is anybody from the international even. No, this is all Entente territory. So I'm not sure what's going on there. The Entente might want to join at some point. and see if they can retake their ancestral homelands there. But for now, we are fighting a defensive war, especially once the eastern flank comes into power as well. The first Schlachtgeschwader is out and intercepting a cruiser group. I would have preferred if the second was going, because they would have been faster. But we will see. I might take the first Schlachtgeschwader. If they can't catch the cruisers, I'm going to take them off orders and get them to repair, and just have the second Schlachtgeschwader operate in the area. So far we haven't really had any success in the Arabian Sea or in the Indian Ocean, but we've got the Ostafrika Geschwader just lurking to see if anything happens here. I might actually, given that they haven't had any success, I might take their convoy raiding orders off for now and save some fuel that way. All right, many things to do. We have research complete, and that was a radar research. So the improved decimetric radar has been completed. And we can continue down. Yeah, we need to continue down with the centrimetric radar, which will also unlock the advanced radios for the tanks and a couple of naval techs that we can use. The operations are still in progress. We're hiring another operative, which is good. That we can use, and can we? But I don't think we have enough operatives right now to. We don't have not enough operatives right now to start another operation in France. I think we'll have to wait for them to complete that first one, and then we'll launch the next one. All right, so that's all ongoing. A decision available. Okay. Gerhard Franzl Zimmermann has shot down a female communard pilot, Elisabeth Lyon, known as Rennes, the Queen. He used himself as bait and lured Rennes into a trap where the German pilots were able to dive on her squadron. He proceeded to outmaneuver the communard aircrafts and with a single burst send Rennes spiraling from the skies of northern France. She was a feared pilot with many German lives on her conscience. This is a great victory and shows that when we rally behind great heroes, they perform great deeds. A victory all of the German Empire will remember. That would be one of our fighter aces, I believe. Let's have a quick look. I don't think we have that many of them just yet. So in the, I think, yep, there he is. Gerhard Franzi Zimmermann from the 2nd Jagdgeschwader over northern France. We do have Zöndl Meyer with the 1st as well operating over northern France, but other than that, not many aces have shown up yet. So that's good. One enemy ace down, and still, yeah, they are starting to take some significant losses, and we are not yet seeing. Mostly they're French and British planes operating here, but we're not yet seeing any American planes in the area. That said, the assaults along the lines are still happening. The British cruiser group is being scouted, and that means we can focus back on the Battle of Oslo, where we are actually operating. Ireland is no longer supporting. I would love to keep Ireland out of the war for as long as possible. Germany's Asia wants our help with their war efforts. Yes, we will accept. We have been called into the Indochina War, and the Middle Africa is sending expeditionary divisions. Yes, I'm happy with that. Lithuania is going to join. Accept. Yes. The Second Weltkrieg is spreading, and Burma is sending us Chinese-made Mausers to the German Empire. And Poland sends 11 divisions as expeditionary forces. I think I'm going to decline that for now, because I'm still somewhat wary about the south here. The Austro-Hungarians are Austro-Hungarians are somewhat friendly with us so far, but they haven't joined on either side. So I'd love to have the Polish divisions. I'd love to have the Polish divisions here, just defending Poland for now. And in case we'll decline that for now. We'll ask if we need troops. 3 more divisions from Middle Africa available. I am going to send these to Indochina. So we're going to get these to reinforce Paulus's troops. So let's get these to join. That is the 4th Wehrbezirkskommando. What are we dealing with here? Oh yeah, very small infantry divisions. Okay, but they are infantry divisions regardless. Paulus is moving through the Dutch East Indies towards the lines in Germany's East Asia, and we are joining the war against Indochina. So everyone's starting to be engaged with everybody else. Who's so far the Russian, so the Moscow Accord is still staying out, and the Entente is still staying out. But we'll see how things turn out. Naval battle in the Low Countries. Where exactly? It would help if I switch to the naval view. I'm not seeing it. Oh, it's a naval invasion on the Low Countries. Oh, that's the problem. Not naval battle. Yeah, this is a naval invasion. So, so that means we are going to have to defend in Wilhelmshaven. I doubt that that they have enough. Well, they actually have enough naval supremacy in the Eastern North Sea, unfortunately. So even with the strike groups covering, that means I am probably going to have to get the Elsass and the Scharnhorst back into the 2nd Schlachtgeschwader, which does not have enough screens for them. Okay, so there is a potential for a British naval invasion, despite the fact that the Hochseeflotte is defending the approaches. That means we are going to have to get ready to defend ourselves. Gentlemen, get ready to defend yourselves. The 2nd Army under von Kluge given that the French lines are holding, we are going to send Günther von Kluge's 2nd Army onto the coastlines to be ready to as a defensive position, ready to push back against any naval invasions that happen at the coast, and take down whatever British divisions are going to be landing there. High Seas Fleet is not able to match the combined power of the British-French navies in the Eastern North Sea, and that means that gives them the confidence to bring invasion troops and risk a naval landing near Wilhelmshaven potentially. We have naval combat still. That's our convoys escaping. And we have the Battle of Oslo raging. So I think that's the one that we'll be focusing on for now. Let me have a quick look at our situation when it comes to planes. We have 83 heavy fighters in reserve. Not quite enough. With 98 fighters, we could bring up another fighter wing and train that. That might not be a terrible idea. So we can just get it up for training for now. So let's bring up we are actually being attacked now in Upper Germany as well. So there's quite a bit of a battle going on in the air. Berlin still looks good. Rhineland still looks clear. Upper Germany, there are some support planes bombing our factories, which I am not particularly happy about. But right now, our fighter wings are engaged over northern France, trying to wear down the French incursion here. If that continues, we might have to dedicate some fighter wings to. We might have to abandon the attempt and dedicate some fighter wings and clearing out the air over Germany. But the syndicalists clearly have planned this ahead, and have made preparations, quite significant preparations to attack for this overall assault. So the Western Front is certainly hot. One thing I'm considering is to get the naval patrol, the naval bombers back to patrol, because they haven't been proven effective against convoys. So I think the Condors are not particularly effective against that. They'll just patrol the North Sea, and we have a torpedo bomber group that we where is it? It's the Torpedo Bomber Gruppe 2. That should be, there it is. They're still training up, so once they are trained, we will start engaging. Actually, given that there is a potential naval invasion happening, we are already going to get them, no time for training, we're going to get them up for naval strikes over the Eastern North Sea to take down anything they can spot in the region. Right, submarines operating out on the ridge, out of Ireland. Ireland so far staying out of the war, which is the right decision. But of course we can't control that forever. And right now the front lines are just holding. There is... what are you... Middle Africa is launching a suicidal attack against Lille. I am not sure what they're trying to achieve, but dig in and defend, please, if you wouldn't mind. That is something that I'd be much more appreciative of. All right, let's have a quick look where Paulus's troops are. I think they are, yeah, Paulus's troops are still landing and are making their way through the Dutch East Indies. So the Pacific War is going to get interesting very soon as well. We'll take a look when things happen, but for now let's focus on Norway. We actually have enough army experience to... how many mechanized infantry vehicles do we have by now? 289. I think we can use some of that to adjust the Mobile Panzerdivision. So we're going to duplicate that and call it the Mobile Panzerdivision A. And let's see how much army XP we need to change this all into mobile mechanized infantry, because that is going to significantly improve the firepower of these mobile divisions. We haven't really engaged our tank divisions at all yet. I would still like to actually get self-propelled AA in, so I can replace this with engineers, but that significantly boosts the firepower of these divisions. We'll save that for 30, and equipment-wise, they should be allowed to use anything they can. Yep. So these, not foreign equipment though, please. So no foreign equipment here. At least not on the tanks. So do not use the interwar tanks. No Panzer IIs in here, please. So we need to maintain 7 kilometers. Even but the Panzer II seem to be doing 7 kilometers. But I think I'll disallow foreign equipment just to make sure that we don't get any captured tanks that suddenly slow down the whole division. So update that, and then we can potentially change around, start changing around some of the tank divisions. We have a bit of a naming collision here. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, we've got 6 Panzer divisions now. And can I change that to the Division A? 240 mechanized, yes. And that means that is going to be the first one, the first division to start receiving mechanized equipment. And soon in the future we can also start changing cavalry into something better. And also these divisions are not particularly useful, short of just defending themselves. And yes, enemy bombers over Stuttgart. Not something I'm particularly fond of. I think we'll watch this for a bit. We'll see how much damage they actually be causing, because they're not strategic bombers or anything. But I've got 2 fighter wings on the eastern front, and I think the 2 fighter wings on the eastern front are not going to do anything. So I'm going to get them onto the western front and get these 2 fighter wings moving over to Stuttgart and start intercepting enemy planes here in the area. So I think we'll just focus the Air Force on that region. All right, Battle for Oslo keeps going on. The recently arrived British 97th Division is helping defend together with the Norwegian 15th here, but they are now facing a large amount of German divisions, and I think despite the fact that the Gebirgsjäger are operating at the edge of their supply, they are not going to be able to hold Oslo. And once they lose Oslo, we have a supply position in southern Norway that should allow us further operations along the coast towards Kristiansand and Bergen, and to push back and destroy the British troops there. Sweden itself seems to be doing okay, holding the lines. I'm not sure what that's going to be like once the Moscow Accord is joining, though. So the Northern Army here definitely needs to show some success, and quickly. They actually have abandoned the southern positions, the fortified positions in the south here. It looks like the 9th Norwegian Infantry has run away, and that potentially opens up more offensive positions in the north. But I think I want to sweep west here as much as possible once we've taken Oslo. The fact that we don't have air cover is unfortunate. Excavation has finished, so I am. What else do we have that needs researching? These we're gonna need soon, but I think we've got next slot's in 23 days. So I think I'm going to go for the Maschinengewehr 39, and I think that's probably some form of grenade launcher or mortar, probably of some sort. So we're going to get that going, and we will be using Mauser for that. We do have the political power to improve one of our military-industrial organizations. So let's have a quick look. I think we need 6. Size more than 5. So we need one in size 6. So for tanks, we don't have that yet. We could use one of these 2. Nothing on the planes, or Mauser. So what policy could we get from Mauser? 10% fund gain, production resource need, not really an issue for rifles. 10% reliability, or 20% research bonus. So doubling the research bonus would be something we could do on infantry equipment, which would be quite significant. But let's have a quick look what we can do on the naval side of things. So it's the same, but we've got a couple of specifics here. So production output cost, 25% range, and 10 deck size on carriers, there are some significant improvements here. So this is the Wilhelmshaven for the heavy ships. We're not really, however, going to be able to. I'm not sure if this applies directly, or if this needs an upgrade. Let's have a look at the Germania Werft. What we could take here as a policy. The same things here, but there is. It's the same thing. So there are a couple of interesting interesting designs here that we could take. But I think, given that we are researching infantry equipment right now, I am more inclined to use the experimental development teams on Mauser for doubling the research bonus, because that should speed up the infantry weapons research that we're doing. That is, it's 89 days, so it's really not that big. All right, let's go for the Navy. We are going to use the Wilhelmshaven-Werft, and I'll see if let's see what we can take here. So we can get minus 5% production output cost. So plus 5% production output, maybe. Max range would be good, but increased hit chance for stable gunnery for the Wilhelmshaven-Werft, so for the big ships, or minus 50% weather penalty. I think stable gunnery sounds like a good choice. So let's take that. So stable gunnery platform. I don't know if this directly applies, or if we need to do a refit here. So I'm not sure if I can even see that, because I don't think that's a stat that I can even see in here. So yeah, so we do need to upgrade to latest, unfortunately. So that doesn't directly impact us, but we'll get to it eventually. What happened to our rubber trade? This is German East Asia. We only need 2, and this is with German East Asia. We only need 2 of those as well. Okay, we're good. And I think aluminium wise we can ditch that. Let's get rid of that. And we can potentially, German East Asia is exporting more aluminium, so we could get, they don't have, they export 97, so let's take that, and in return reduce the trade with the Netherlands significantly. There we go. Now it's all straightened up. All right, Battle of Oslo. Just keeping an eye on the naval invasions. That's currently they're just planning this. But more interestingly, it looks like Battle of Eastern North Sea, a British cruiser group that has been marauding. I think it's a British one. Yeah, it's a British cruiser group under Admiral Evans that has been scouted in the Eastern North Sea, has been engaged by the first Schlachtgeschwader. And the second Schlachtgeschwader is now coming in as well to join the engagement. That means we've got to slow time down right away, and I want to see how this pans out, because that's what's that, 5 cruisers, and the RNS. Oh, because it's not going to be HMS, obviously. So we've got the Wolverhampton, the Edinburgh, the Truro, Reading, and Ajax, and we've got a bunch of destroyers and one more destroyer. Yes. Okay. So they're trying to retreat, but we'll see. We'll see how much we're doing. The Reading is already the one that's been damaged most. She's severely leaking here. And before we continue, quick look at a naval result. Submarines have been successful in sinking British convoys. Again, off the coast of Africa. I'm not sure what they're probably trading convoys. So we're already quite effective here. But what I'm more interested in right now is this naval battle here. So we'll see if we manage to take down some of the cruisers. The first Schlachtgeschwader is not the fastest, and we have sunk. The Reading has been sunk by the Berlin, and that was one of our light cruisers, I believe. So yeah, it's mostly taken guns by the light guns. So Truro has just taken a hit. And they've actually been hit by torpedoes quite a bit. Edinburgh has taken some damage from the big guns, but Edinburgh is now heavily damaged as well. We have lost the V173, sunk by Indestructible, but three destroyers and 3 of the light cruisers have already been sunk, and I think the Wolverhampton and the Ajax are not going to stand alone against that firepower of that magnitude, especially with reinforcements coming in. They're trying to disengage, and I think with a single critical hit, Wolverhampton has just been sunk by who did the SMS Oder did the honors, and that just leaves the Ajax, and I think that means that the whole battle, the battle is over. The second Schlachtgeschwader has not been engaging anymore. We've lost 1 destroyer, but we have sunk 7 British destroyers and 5 British light cruisers. So it turns out, and that has changed the balance of strength, and hopefully somewhat discouraged the British from any further incursions into the North Sea region here, because that has tipped the scales a little bit almost. That has tipped the scales somewhat, and the British are no longer actively planning. They are planning a naval invasion, but they might not get through here as easily as they thought they would. Still, we do have the tank divisions of the Second Army ready to repel in case that scenario changes. We've got an infantry division that does need to reinforce the 11th, and I think the 11th at this stage has 9 divisions. So if we are deploying single divisions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. That is a deployment that I can live with, and we'll get these divisions stretched out over Georgia against a potential Russian incursion, because the Russians are somewhat massing troops here along the lines. We have more success for the submarines, I believe Norwegian, if I'm not mistaken. Difficult to tell, these flags all look the same to me, but the submarines in the Atlantic are increasingly successful. We are chasing down unescorted British convoys, and I am not entirely certain what the British convoys are doing here. So Dönitz's submarines are definitely working significantly better on their positions there. Here we have a Moroccan group being chased by the French. Morocco is part of the Morocco is part of the Reichspakt actually, but yeah, we cannot secure Moroccan transports here along the coast. The message has been clear to our allies that the German escort groups are not going to be protecting the lines here. Enemy shipping anywhere? No enemy shipping anywhere. Okay. Where's Paulus? The world wonders. Paulus is shipping over to Singapore, which is still not where we need him to be, because I don't think there's a war going on with the Kingdom of Siam. At least I hope not. But we do need to finish off. Indochina here, definitely. We will at some point need to bring troops to Hawaii, but because Honolulu currently is undefended. But I just don't have any troops, and this is the Geleitflotte actually moving into position for their new tasks of securing the trade routes towards Arabia, and they are potentially threatened by the syndicalists from the Commune, but so far they haven't made any advances to joining the war either. So how's the Battle of Oslo going? We have taken Oslo. Okay, we have taken Oslo, so now it's a matter of establishing supply. Once the railway connections are going to be secure, then we will be holding Oslo, and from there on we will be pushing toward west, probably towards Bergen and Stavanger, and just reduce the amount of impact that the British are going to have there. And 8 divisions from the 8th Army are going to take on that task, but they do need to recuperate somewhat. We can, however, secure the northern flanks here, just pushing north a little bit. And I think we can take territory in the north as well and secure the northern positions, the positions north of Oslo, until British arrive there in force. So let's get everything consolidated. Unfortunately, offensive operations have to happen under enemy aerial superiority. There are, where are these from? Swedish, yeah, the Swedish have brought some fighter planes back to engage, but we cannot spare any fighters ourselves. The two fighter wings from the Eastern Front have arrived and are clearing out enemy bombers over southern Germany. There are still support planes active over the Rhineland as well, and there are still long-range French bombers actually active over Berlin. I think we can. That's fine. We'll leave it like that. We can probably designate one of these wings to assist with the. Yeah, there's 200 planes. No, this is a good distribution actually. So, losses-wise, how have the French been faring at the front lines? They are continuing their assaults along the lines, although it looks like the losses have somewhat diminished. But overall, every one of these attacks is costing thousands of French lives versus very little on the German side. We have so far, if we look at which Second Weltkrieg were we looking at even, I am not sure, there are many of them. The French have lost almost 70,000 troops at this point. And this is just from their assaults along the lines. So while Operation Paula is ongoing, they have gotten reinforcements. They're just concentrating more at this point. But I think we're still trading 1 to 5. So I think that is still a fight that we're taking. We've got the fighter wings here, and they're all engaged. They're all experienced wings. It's not an ideal scenario. I would like to get more fighters up and engaged, but I think for now everyone's quite busy. Everyone's quite busy here along the lines. So, all right, and these are okay. The Dutch are using the channel now to their own detriment. Yes, they will be losing. They will be losing a lot of. They will be losing a lot of convoys that way. But everything's looking good. Let's focus on the Norwegian front for now. In fact, what's not looking good is our fuel consumption. We are. It's the Navy is using a lot of fuel, so even with where the Schlachtgeschwaders currently, the Schlachtgeschwaders both are still returning to naval bases. Does anybody need repair? Split-offs enabled, so any ships that need repair should be splitting off. I think some of our destroyers. Yeah, one of our destroyers here has taken quite some damage. 2 destroyers taken quite some damage. So they should be. They're on high repair priority, so they should be splitting off and repairing on their own. So that's all in good position. British naval invasion deterred, and we have troops available to widen the lines north of Oslo, honestly. So I am going to do that, and we'll just keep an eye on for the naval operation. Okay, Dönitz submarines are doing the deeds here against enemy convoys. The British convoys in the South Atlantic are completely unescorted, so that's going to be working out in our favor. We have Moroccan shipping is being disrupted in the Mediterranean, but we don't have friendly. We could cover them with escort groups, but then French cruiser groups would be intercepting here. So we're not fighting. Morocco needs to keep their ships in port until we're ready to engage the until we are ready to engage the French in battle more seriously. Okay, troops are moving into position. Or am I? That's a little bit slow. Let's move up one farther. And a couple of battle results. We have lost. What is our convoys? In the north, possible. 22 convoys from us. The Danes have helped out and sunk a British ship, but we have lost a couple of convoys, and we have launched an air attack against another British group in the area. What is this? Mostly cruisers and escorts. They have damaged Arne's lookout, but where am I? The strike groups are disengaging. Yeah, there's the Aufklärungsgruppe is already scouting that cruiser group in the North Sea. So we will take them out as soon as the strike forces are ready and in position. We do have some political powers, so we can political power, command powers, so we can probably see if there's anything that we want to upgrade. It's all this guerrilla fighter, not that keen on it. On entrenchment speed. And von Mackensen, yeah, we'll leave him as is. How about the navies? Are there any upgrades we can take on the navies? Yes. I think what I'm most interested in is Dönitz. Dönitz doesn't have anything. Von Nordeck is running the Aufklärungsgeschwader and Marshal the Geleitflotte. Karls with the Ostafrika. Is there anything interesting we can get for these? That's von Nordeck was having the Geleit, I think. No, actually. What's he running? The Aufklärungsgeschwader. Okay. He can get torpedo screen penetration. Aufklärungsgeschwader is not usually engaging, but that would be interesting regardless. And lastly, we've got a Marshal who's doing the Geleitflotte. He's probably most needed. So concealment expert or lone wolf. Visibility minus 20%. Yeah, I think that is what we want. And he can get the retreat decision, but I don't think I have enough command power for that. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so that's done. Air battle over northern France still ongoing with a significant number of enemy air away, and we do actually need to improve our radar stations, I believe. Yes, the radar station Alsace-Lorraine is going to be upgraded. A radar station in the north, and I believe we had one we're building one in Brandenburg, and a radar in the east as well. Although this is all on enemy territory, so I will leave them to that, I think. Yeah, this is all on this is all on not our own territory, so there's not an awful lot we can do about it. However, that should cover most of the east. We might just get one radar station up here, just to cover the region a little better. So let's do that. Tank division moving to repel a potential British naval invasion, and there is also I think that's a Norwegian group that is still operating in the Danish belts. So we'll see how that goes. All right, back to the battle in Norway, where or not, we are getting volunteers. So Italian volunteers have arrived. Austrian and Brazilian volunteers. The democratic opposition continues, and let's see what they're up to now, because this looks different from the repetitive events that we had in the past. In 1914, the beginning of the Weltkrieg led to the formation of a peace between all the differing parties and movements in the German Empire, and even the Social Democrats chose to endorse the war in near unison. Now, however, times appear to have changed. Throughout the past few years, democratic civil society has struggled against our reform projects. which they deemed tyrannical and authoritarian, as baseless as their claims might be, and they are no longer as enthusiastic to defend it as they were 20 years ago. Of course, no true social democrat or progressive liberal would ever accept a syndicalist regime. Thus, the agitation of the movement of March the 3rd will be somewhat muted, however. The line is that we must immediately make an honorable peace with the aggressors and resist any return to the military dictatorship of the First Weltkrieg. Any attempts to mobilize the industry against the rights of labor will be sure to spark strikes, and our opponents will continue demanding democratic reform in the Reichstag. This costs me 5,000 manpower and 2% base war support. I need to complete anti-sedition laws and dissolve socialist organization to stop this nonsense from happening. So let's see where that is. Anti-sedition laws. That is, it's down here. Okay. And we need, what was the other one? Something like that. Dissolve socialist organizations. Yeah. So basically, the next, probably the next, after this, the next action we need to take is to go down here, so we have two choices. We can either deal with the lack of preparedness, although we are holding at the moment. We're doing okay. And it'll tick down by itself eventually. But this would give so wartime mobilization would be one thing. Alternatively, we could combat defeatism. This also slows down the lacking preparedness and gives us 20% war support. I think that's worth it. And then we can move into the anti-sedition laws and dissolve the socialist organizations. And I think that path here is what we're going to be doing next. Once the secret police has completed. New troops available. I'm going to continue sending them to the 11th and have them assist. And the big focus of Operation Paula is still going to be northern France, where we continue inflict crippling losses to the enemy aviation. Our air detection could be better, and I would love better mission efficiency. The problem is the range, that our fighters are too short range to cover northern France. We could improve that. We've lost a train to enemy bombing. Where have we lost the train to enemy bombing? Here, okay, in this region. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. But the naval combat has been joined. Two heavy cruisers. What are these? Oh, this is the scout group. So the scout group, one of the scout groups has been engaged by a French French cruiser group. Now the scout groups were not supposed to be engaging, so I think the first Schlachtgeschwader is intercepting the 5th Task Force. And that is, I think, this group. I hope. So let's observe what's going on here. Where is the Schlachtgeschwader? Yeah, there. Okay, the Schlachtgeschwader is moving in to defend. So Bonin and Steinmetz are currently fighting. Have taken some damage from light guns. Fortunately, they haven't been torpedoed yet, but they are getting reinforced by the. They're getting reinforced by the first Schlachtgeschwader joining in the fight, and that should turn the tide of battle immediately. There's, however, a potential from more British ships coming in. So they have chosen to engage, and we will see how that ends up going. What's the biggest ship here? These are all just I think these are all light cruisers and destroyers at this point. But I'm kind of curious who is going to be joining here. And we have sunk the Kempenfeld. Then we're already sinking a fair amount of convoys here. That was from the initial submarine engagement. And yes, the British Home Fleet is joining. So we have a major naval battle on our hands. And the second Schlachtgeschwader is unfortunately not joining here, but is sailing to intercept. No, the second Schlachtgeschwader is joining as well. So I am going to get second Schlachtgeschwader doesn't have enough screens for the big ones. But this is a major battle in the Eastern North Sea at this point. We are the German Hochseeflotte is facing off against and there are more ships incoming. Is facing off against the Royal Navy's the Royal Navy's main force led by Arne's Hood. Consisting of currently 2 battle cruisers, 3 battleships, a heavy cruiser, and 3 aircraft carriers. We don't have carriers of our own, but we might be able to get, or we should be able to get, the land-based torpedo bombers to join, and hopefully the Küstenfliegergruppe. That would be neat. The second Schlachtgeschwader is going to join in, and I am tempted to throw in the heavies as well. But that is a large number of ships. So I think we'll not let these ships go unescorted through the North Sea, given what's currently going on. But we are definitely going to slow this down. And this is a major naval battle of the German coast, and probably the battle that is going to decide about any future British naval invasions of the German coast. So let's observe. SMS V172 has been damaged quite significantly already. The British are joining, and the land-based planes are joining as well. We are facing some carrier-based planes coming in, and it looks like most of their destroyers. And there comes the second Schlachtgeschwader, and the second Schlachtgeschwader has joined as well. So we're now in the order of battle. We are having 6 battleships. Actually, we've got 9 battleships, 2 battle cruisers. We've got the SMS Steinmetz, which is disengaging. And we've got Bonin and Admiral Werner, which are joining, as well as their respective screening force, facing the Anson, the Hood, which is the pride of the British fleet, as well as the battleship Nelson, Warspite and Rodney, and they are supported by the Courageous, the Furious, and the Glorious. So we've got the British home fleet engaged here, pretty much, and we will see how that battle ends up going. It looks like the British are conceding the field here to the Hochseeflotte. So far, they've lost 2 destroyers, but we've lost 2 destroyers as well. So the screening group's relatively evenly matched. Oh dear. Okay, that'll have to wait. That'll have to wait. We have a naval battle to observe. Can you come back at a later stage? We have a naval battle to observe. So Anson has taken hits from some of the heavy guns on the German side, and it looks like Nelson, Warspite has taken a hit. And Rodney has been attacked from the air to no great, which has seemed to have scared her off. The Nelson is disengaging. Hood is still fighting, and we will see the carriers are disengaging. They haven't taken any damage. One naval strike on the Glorious has caused some damage, but other than that, not much. And the British are disengaging, and it looks like the question will be: can they get away? The Glorious is turning tail and is running already, and the Ravachol is now trying to cover the retreat of the British heavy forces, and together with the screening group here, we've lost 5 destroyers. They've lost 3 destroyers so far. So our destroyers haven't performed too well so far. We should have. We've got a fair number of light cruisers engaged here, but especially from the second Schlachtgeschwader, some modern ones. But the biggest question is, can we take down some of the big ones? Furious has disengaged. So have Dido and Charybdis, and it looks like Glorious is after the naval strike is retreating. The Louise Michel from the French side has joined briefly, but is also now retreating. Anson has been relatively heavily damaged, and so has Hood. Both have received severe hits from the heavy guns. Nelson, Rodney, and Waspite also has taken some heavy damage. So they are making their way out of there. Some of our screening forces are now trying to disengage as well. We've sunk another British destroyer, but it looks like the carriers are definitely going to get away. The question is, can we sink any of the enemy heavy ships? And I think, despite the fact that we've done some severe damage to them, they're probably going to be making their way out of this without actual losses here, which is unfortunate. It would have been great to take down heavy ships. We have lost the Stuttgart, which has been sunk by the Coventry. Most of the light forces are in relatively good shape still, so their screening is pretty effective. And Nelson, Hood is in bad shape. The question is, can we catch the Hood potentially? Ravanchal has taken the brunt of the fire, covering the retreat. Hood is trying to retreat. We have sunk the Saint-Etienne, sunk by the Danzig, and seven British destroyers. Damage-wise, on the German side, we have taken some damage, but most of it minor. But I think both fleets are going to be needing to repair after the operation here, and we will see if either Hood or the Ravanchal can still fall to some hits here. I think Hood will make her way out. The Steinmetz has disengaged. Hood has taken some heavy hits, but is disengaging, and it looks like Ravanchal is getting away as well. And there goes Hood. The last question is, heavily damaged, the heavy cruiser is trying to make her escape, and she hasn't. The Ravanchal has sacrificed herself, has been taken out by the von der Tann. So the Germans, on the German side, we have lost 6 destroyers and 1 light cruiser. On the British side, 5 convoys, one French cruiser, 7 destroyers, and 1 heavy cruiser. And there's still 2 French light cruisers that are trying to escape. So let's see if maybe we can catch these on the retreat. They have taken torpedo hits, both of them, probably flooding severely. And it looks like one of them has gone down. The Narbonne is still trying to escape, but let's see what the result of the battle was. We've still caught the Toulouse and the Narbonne. So all in all, the syndicalists, I would say the High Seas Fleet is claiming victory here at this point. The trade has been somewhat even, but we've managed to sink a heavy cruiser, 3 light cruisers, a bunch of destroyers, and 5 of their convoys. But now on to bigger events, because let's have a look what else. One of our submarines has been sunk. Not sure what our submarines are doing in the British Channel, but we have our submarines operating, probably trying to get out into the open sea to reinforce. We keep sinking British convoys in the South Atlantic quite successfully, and or syndicalist convoys in general. 11 convoys sunk. Yeah, Dönitz' submarines are wreaking absolute havoc on the convoy lines in the open Atlantic. Mexican convoys sunk. These might have been troop transports. So let's have a quick look if Mexico has taken some losses here. Where are the Mexicans? That's our side. There's Mexico. Not hugely. French losses are terrifyingly high at this point. And unfortunately now a new front has opened in the east. And that front is looking... why are you attacking? Okay, so Belarus and Ukraine have decided to leave their fortified positions and launch an attack a preemptive attack into the Russian formations of the Moscow Accord. That is obviously going to go terribly wrong, I would assume. So already the counterattack is launching, and the first contact with Russian forces is happening in Narva in the north, where the 5th Königlich Sächsische Infanteriedivision is holding the line here with against an incoming Moscow Accord attack. How is the air situation in the east? Obviously, the air situation is going to be bad. The majority of it seems to be focusing on the Baltic. So a large number of support planes is launching air attack on the Baltic air region, which means that's going to be where the majority of the Russian fighting is going to go on. Now, we do have the infantry divisions dug in relatively well, so I'm hoping that they can defend themselves against the Russian onslaught here. But they should be able to defeat that without too much trouble. And if our allies had decided to not do stupid things like try to attack into fortified Russian lines, but rather were consolidating the defense, then things would have gone better. But we'll maintain our lines here. We need to strengthen the Eastern Front further potentially, but we will see how the situation develops. We're not going to contest the Russians in the air at this point, because we just don't have anything in the air to contest them with. Right now, the majority of the Air Force is busy shooting down enemy planes over Germany and reducing the enemy bombing rates over the Rhineland to ashes. And we are engaged on the Western Front, so Operation Paula is still the priority. We are probably going to increase the fighter production, however. So let's see where we are here. We are going to need, we've got older Focke-Wulfs that we can start converting. We cannot get another fighter wing up, but I think we are going to, do we have enough? Yes, we have enough air experience to design ourselves a new heavy fighter. So let's do that first. And then we can allocate production. So improved medium airframe. And that is going to be heavy machine guns, the Junkers 88, the Ju-88. We'll just go with heavy machine guns for now because we haven't researched the cannons. And there we go. And we get the latest engines. I think it was self-sealing fuel tanks. And what else did I put in that? Let's see what this looks like by now. 33-38, air superiority. And compared to the Bf-110C1, significantly more fighting power. And yes, I think 20, that was the Junkers 88 design that I was going to go with. So I think getting armor plates in there was too heavy. Yes, that would have impacted range. So 1,100 kilometers range is fine. It's a bit shorter range than the Bf-110s, but I think it's enough range. Alternatively, if we put extra fuel tanks in, we could, but it would reduce further reduce air defense and agility. I think that is sufficient range actually for this model. So the Junkers 88, save that, and we're going to start the production of Junkers 88 airframe with Dornier, I think. Yes, Dornier was what we're using. Okay, Russia has declared war. Yes, we know that. That means the southern flank is going to be activated as well. But let's get the Junkers 88 into production. Where are the airplanes? Here. Why is that down here now? The flag's supposed to be up here. There we go. The Junkers 88 needs to go south. All right. Sorry, I just like to organize these things. Otherwise, I'll never find anything anymore. And this will take 20 factories. So we're going to reduce the. We've got an older Heinkel. But I think that's fine. I think we're going to. I think we've got pretty much everything upgraded at this stage from the heavy fighters. So I'm just going to reduce that down to. Let's reduce it down to 2 factories, just for a slight production while we're ramping up the Junkers 88. And then we can we can ramp this line up. We'll have some factories to convert the previous lines, and it is a completely different model, so it's good to do it that way. And we've got the same with the Heinkels while the Dorniers are ramping up. We've still got a couple of factories. In fact, we might actually just get some new factories in still. No, 10's too much. Just 5. There we go. All right, we'll juggle things a bit. The Focke-Wulf production needs to ramp up as well. I think more with the situation in the east, we're going to need another 10 factories on this. And that means we're obviously short again on aluminium. So let's trade additional aluminium with the Netherlands. And we are good on everything else. Yeah, we're good on everything else. Okay. So the southern flank has activated. The first Russian assaults are starting, but I don't think they're going to get anywhere against the infantry divisions moving into place. We get some reinforcements coming in, hopefully soon. But I think we can manage to deflect the Russian assault here in the south. There is a Russian attack on Sevastopol and on Crimea, obviously, and along the lines here. We're not defending Crimea, which slightly worries me, but I don't think they're going to get through there easily. And we are getting reinforcements from everywhere. So the battle lines are joined at this point. We've given the home fleet a bruising, but not as decisive as we would have liked. So I think I'm going to get pretty much everything that needs repair should go in for repairs. Let's see if the repair yards are not yet active. That's because there's still. I thought automatic split off is enabled. Repair priority high. I might send both groups in for repairs. Honestly, this opens us up to that they're potentially still engaging here. I'm not sure if they're still going to go for a second engagement. All right, let's wait and see. Potentially the Hochseeflotte will go for a second engagement against the retreating British and finish them off. That would be worth the loss of some of the more severely damaged ships. However, let's see which ones are in the worst shape. Yeah, some of the destroyers are in really bad shape. So we will see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for now, the Hochseeflotte has sort of found their groove and is doing substantial damage. Has been doing substantial damage in that clash with the British and the French navies in the northern front here. Troops are in positions and are recovering their organization. Can we actually move? Yes, we can actually move out from. We can break out from Oslo. We are facing some Norwegian troops here, but and some British troops, but not a massive amount. So I think we'll leave the northern flank here to the Swedes and once all these troops are recovered, we'll continue to push westwards towards Bergen and Stavanger. And yeah, we are now fighting on many fronts. So the Second Weltkrieg has most certainly, current events here, the Second Weltkrieg has most certainly begun, and it'll be interesting to see how it turns out while our submarines are getting chased off by British groups in the Northern Atlantic who seem to have found that their missing convoys have been falling prey to German wolf packs. As long as Ireland doesn't join, and I'm actually capable of keeping the lines of communication open here, I think we are doing what we can, and the escort groups are currently constrained to the Pacific theater, because we're not actually running any shipping through here. But yeah, well, all of that to come in the next episode. For now, Germany is just defending along the lines everywhere. And again, Operation Paula is going to be in effect until we can break the back of the Allied Air Force here. And I don't think they can sustain a 1-to-5 trade in fighter planes. Then I think we are eventually going to wear them down sufficiently that the Luftwaffe can then orient itself eastwards and deal with the Russians. So the first long-term strategic assault is going to go through France, which will open us up to the Atlantic, and the Eastern Front is just going to hold. And we'll see if we can deal with the Norwegian situation before the Moscow Accord is starting to roll up Sweden here, because that's going to be another one of the problems that we are currently facing. Fortification repair in Alsace-Lorraine. I think I am just going to, because there's going to be constant fighting, I'm going to reduce that and get the factories to be useful elsewhere. All right, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.